Hello, how are you? My name is Federico. I am president at Cooperative Kleros. I'm very happy to be here at CODIFI. And well, we will speak about decentralized justice, this new approach to ODR that is being pioneered by Kleros. And let's start by some very short introduction to what the economy looks like now. We are in a world where globalization has been taken over, and we have people working like as freelancers for different customers all over the world. I mean, doing design, doing software, and all kind of work. And we are also in a world where the fact of cryptocurrencies enables people to fund different projects and different companies from all over the world without any boundaries that are like working as friction points. So we are in a world where labor and capital are becoming liquid. And so let me tell you a bit about some very common type of situation happening in the world of today. So let's think of Alice, who is an entrepreneur from France, and she hires Bob, who is from Guatemala, to build a video for her, for a promotional video for her company. And there is a dispute in this contract, and because she claims that the quality of the job that Bob was supposed to do was not good enough. And so, of course, she's not going to go to court in Guatemala or to arbitration in some country like France or Singapore for a $500 claim. So let's see. This is creating a situation where the amount of disputes happening in the online world and the online economy is growing very fast. And the capacity for resolution coming from traditional methods is still like linear and not growing fast enough. So the result of this is that justice gap is growing ever more. And this situation is going to become, worse and worse as time goes by. So let's see how Kleros can help here, and in particular how this broader field of decentralized justice works and how it can provide solutions for this type of situation. So we have again Alice and Bob, and now she makes a payment in a cryptocurrency into a smart contract that is going to work as an escrow in this transaction, and funds are going to be held there, and both parties agree that if there is a dispute, there's going to be an arbitrator called Kleros, as any traditional, arbitration situation where parties agree on who the arbitration is going to be in case of a claim. So if nothing happens, because Alice is happy with Bob's work, so funds are released and everybody's happy. But let's imagine that so there is a dispute because she claims that the quality is not good enough. And then the funds stays locked in that contract, and Kleros is going to select a panel of arbitrators who are going to analyze the evidence, and they're going to vote on who is right after seeing the contract, seeing the product that was delivered, and each of them votes independently. So very important fact here, Kleros is built on the Ethereum blockchain, and this means that the process is going to be very secure. No one can tamper with the evidence, and nobody can tamper with the jury selection process. So this means that everything is going to be carried out exactly as it was coded into the smart contracts. And so this means that every party that is going to be participating in this claim can fully trust that the situation that the dispute resolution process is going to be carried out exactly as was expected. And then in this case, let's say that the majority of the jurors vote for Alice, and then the funds that were locked into this smart contract are sent to her, and so this finishes the situation. So the first main feature of decentralized justice is this idea of a system that is secured by blockchain, and blockchain gives its traceability and auditability for all of the parties to trust how it works. So the question that you must be asking yourself is, okay, how are these jurors being selected? Let's say that this is a woman who is from Myanmar, and she's video designer. she works during the day in a video producing company, and on the evening, to make some extra money on the side, she wants to be a juror in Kleros cases. So in order to be a Kleros juror, you only need one thing. You need to buy this token called the PNK, and it is a digital token that works like a lottery ticket. It gives you the right to be drawn as a juror in cases happening in Kleros, right? So Kleros has different courts specializing in different elements and in different, situations. So in this case, this woman is going to deposit her token in the video production court because that's where she wants to work. And then of all the people that are going to stake the token into that court, let's say 5 are drawn to be jurors. So the token, as I said, it's like a lottery ticket that gives you the right to be drawn among all of those who want to be jurors in that court. So now this woman was drawn, and with other 4 jurors, and then they're going to, analyze the evidence, they're going to analyze the case, and then make a decision. So a very important element of how Kleros works is that jurors don't need to reveal their identity in order to be drawn. Why? Well, because these are people who are going to adjudicate claims online, and this could put them under, very stressful situations in case someone would know who they are, because they could be harassed on social media, or they could be, suffering all kinds of intimidation and attempts. So these persons can protect their privacy. They don't have to reveal who they are, but this creates a different problem. So if you don't know who these persons are, so how do you make sure that they will do an honest work? How do you make sure that they are not going to vote randomly or take bribes or whatever? So, and this is where the main innovation of decentralized justice comes, because this is where the incentive system works in a completely different way to what we are used to in traditional justice or arbitration system. So this person you see on the screen is Thomas Schelling. He is was a Nobel Prize in Economics 2005 for his contribution to a discipline called game theory. Game theory is a branch of economics that studies how people behave in situations that require to do strategic decisions, and where how other people are going to behave impact the results of our strategy. So in particular, Schelling was famous for his contribution and his development of one concept called focal points that we know now as Schelling point in his honor. And it's about how different users can reach or different agents can reach consensus decision in situations where they cannot communicate with each other or where they don't trust each other. So check in these 12 numbers. You have to pick one, and if you pick the same one as the majority, then you make $20. If you pick a different one, then you make nothing. So in this type of situation, people tend to select the 1000 because it looks like special and it looks like the number that everyone else would choose. So this is the Schelling point in this exercise, right? It's a natural decision that people will tend to choose in absence of communication between agents. So let's take this logic of the Schelling point into this situation of a jury needing to resolve a case where they have to decide who was right about the video situation. So if Alice or Bob, they both made their arguments, and now these jurors are to decide. So under the situation of Kleros, so each of them will vote independently about the the case. So they are going to see the same evidence, and they're going to see the same product, the same contract, the same everything, and they're going to have to follow the same rules of the court where they are going to work. So in this situation, the Schelling point about the case is going to be the truth about the conflict. So the truth in a consensual way, the truth in what is the community of practice of video developers consider as the right decision in this situation. It's not the truth in any transcendental meaning. It's just the truth of the consensus of the community. So each of them has the incentive to try to see how others are going to vote. And if they vote like the others, they are rewarded. If they vote in a incoherent way with the majority, they are penalized, okay? So why? Because the money, the coin that they have deposited to be drawn as a juror in the case, it stays locked until the court session ends. So if you vote different to the majority, then that coin that you had deposited there, it is transferred to the people who voted in the majority way. So this is a bit more complex, but I don't have much more time to explain in much more in depth. But the main concept here and the main idea is that users trying to game the system will lose money on average. Why? Let's say I vote randomly, like A, B, A, B. So I might be right sometimes when the majority side, but on average, I'm going to be more wrong than right. So I'm going to put the money and then I'm going to, lose it because I'm wrong. Then I'm going to put another coin and then I'm going to lose it because I'm wrong. Then I might win someone, but on average, I'm going to lose more than I win. So at the end, I start running out of tokens and then I exit the system. And then if I really take actually my time to, analyze the evidence and make an honest vote, then I might be wrong sometimes, because it happens that, people who see the same evidence and try to make follow the same rules, they can still, be on the wrong side because there are matters of interpretations, there is subjectivity. But on average, if I start working on this many times, I will be more likely than to be right than wrong. So I'm going to make money as I produce rulings for the system. And Kleros is how that produces good decisions to the cases it has to solve. So the two other main features of decentralized justice is this idea of collective intelligence and peers who act as the arbitrators of the cases, and this idea of crypto-economic incentives, how the incentive system works to make people make the right decisions and make people behave honestly because they are doing so by following their economic interest. So this is the third main feature of decentralized justice. Use cases for Kleros, there are many, but think, for example, e-commerce, buyer against seller type of disputes, small insurance claims about, an insurance company against a customer for who has to pay for the repair of this accident. Lots of different situations of utilities, customer against credit card company, customer against water company or telephone, whatever, lots of consumer claims. And then other situations that come more from the future or now already from the present. So for example, we have this very important trend called esports, where you have people from different countries playing in some online game, and then these people have a situation where there are disputes regarding some team accuses the other of cheating, and you have 20 people in this situation, and some of them are anonymous because you don't even know where they are, who they are. They are just avatars in some online gaming tournament. So how do you resolve this situation? Well, it's really impossible to do it with traditional tools. So you need some method native from the internet age to resolve it. And this is where Kleros can provide value. And if you want to think a bit more into the future, think about all of the claims that are going to happen in the metaverse, people who just are going to interact with each other in these online worlds, and they don't have any other situation and the other resolution method for people who are just interacting outside of any jurisdiction or any court possibility to resolve. So anonymous people interacting in online worlds. And why Kleros has this some quite different method for resolution? Well, Traditional ODR methods, traditional dispute resolution methods, they are basically like mini trials over Zoom, which is, of course, better than having to go to court in a physical way or to a arbitration hearing. But it's like 20-30% more effective. It's like an incremental innovation. Kleros, because of how the system works from first principles and how the system works um, from the mechanism design, has the potential of bringing a solution that is 10x more efficient and it's 10x cheaper, 10x faster than traditional solutions, and with the transparency that blockchain can provide to the process. And this puts the cost of Kleros under the threshold of a number of small claims use cases that are going to happen in this online economy. And then also there is the situation of what type of claims is Kleros going to resolve. So, for example, in the situation of claims that are more objective and less complex, this is probably going to be resolved in the future by some machine learning tool because it's cheaper, it's faster to automate it. That's fine. But there are some situations where you cannot really automate it because it's it's a bit more complex and there is more subjectivity involved and there is interpretation to be done. So these situations are especially good for systems like Kleros because they can provide a cheap resolution service while at the same time being able to resolve situations that depend on intentionality, understanding of agents, and all of human situations that only humans can understand. And then for more complex situations that involve multiple parties or they involve the need for having legal reasoning or legal expertise, this is still going to be resolved through like traditional methods, and this is not going to be resolved by Kleros. So let me just give you an example of how this actually works so it doesn't look like so abstract. So one of the use cases of Kleros, among the many use cases we have, is about regulation in decentralized finance. So we have a growing number of crypto assets being created every day, being issued by different projects, creating different tokens, and the ability of regulators is not growing as fast as the amount of tokens that are being created. So Kleros, one of the use cases is a token vetting procedure that can be used to define or to determine if some token of some crypto asset should be listed into an exchange, and for this it should comply with a number of rules that the exchange demands to be complied with. So, and we launched this app called tokens.kleros.io where everyone can send a token to be listed. So, for example, this user called Alice, she sends a token to submits a token to be listed into this exchange and also makes a deposit while she makes her submission. So anyone can verify if the token complies with the rules to be listed, and if no one has any objection, so the token now gets listed and then she gets back her deposit. Okay, but now let's imagine that she submits a token that is a scam or it's a Ponzi or whatever. So she makes the submission, she puts a deposit, and some user, like called Bob, he claims that the token doesn't comply with the rules, so he can challenge the submission with another deposit. And now there's going to be a trial that's going to decide this situation of, well, conflict. There's Alice who claims that the token complies with the rules, and Bob who claims that it doesn't comply. So each of them sends, their arguments, and then the jury selected by Kleros is going to make a decision. In this case, let's say that they just decide that Bob is right because the token doesn't comply, and so he gets back the token. He gets Alice's deposit, so that's his reward for being the challenger. And so this makes sure that the token that was not compliant is removed from the list. So let me show you just one case of a situation of a project called Chain that people wanted to have this token listed into a exchange for crypto assets. And some people from the community, so the challengers, they saw that there was this guy called Scott Bingley who apparently was the CTO of this project, but there was no um, like not many talks by Scott Bingley on YouTube. I mean, he didn't seem to have enough of a public presence for a person who was the chief of technology for an important project. And also, the CV of this person claimed that he was part of some group called Blockchain Research Laboratories at Oxford. So some of the jurors in Kleros called Oxford to ask for this guy, and they just, answered that, hey, we don't know who Scott Bingley is, and there is no Oxford Blockchain Laboratories in Oxford here, so we don't know anything about this. So it turned out that the guy was basically just a non-existent fake profile. Was just someone downloaded the photo from a stock image and then made everything up, and this person didn't exist. And the whole project, of course, was the token was removed from the registry. And some months later, we see that on the news that some project was detected by the Chinese police department as a Ponzi, and there was a number of arrests. And Kleros could get to this decision, to this, find out this situation like 6 or 8 months before the Chinese police. So how many people got scammed during this 6-month period before the Chinese police got to discover that this was a scam and not a legitimate project? So just to finish, the future of disputes is about digital goods. It's about small claims happening across jurisdictions. It's about paying in crypto, smart contracts enforcing the rulings, and very especially it's about anonymous parties and anonymous arbitrators. So in this situation, we have this growing online justice gap, which is not being adequately covered by traditional resolution methods, and that's where we need to think outside of the box, and we can have decentralized justice being one of the tools that is coming for helping us resolve the justice gap in the times to come in the online economy. So thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to be here at CODIFI. Bye-bye.